Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ashraf bin Abu Gira. My matric number 33DI19F1094. Today I will to talk about presentation week 3. This is my content. First, introduction, graph, analysis, suggestion, and conclusion. Introduction. First, bar graph. The height of the block corresponds to the value of the quantity being represented in a bar graph. The values are represented by the vertical axis, which represent the total number of each type of object counted, while the categories are represented by the horizontal axis. For instance, if you're counting car, vans, and jeep in a parking lot, the individual block may represent car, van, and jeep, and their height could reflect how many you counted. However, the bars can represent almost anything that fit into a categories, including the value of the same quantity at different time. Counts, total sale, percentage, frequencies, and value in any unit of measurement might all be represented by the head of the bar. Example, head, speed, or mass. Because bar graphs are so adaptable, anyone working with data will likely use them frequently. Second, line graph. A line graph differs from a bar graph in the individual point plot on the two axes and neighboring point are connected with straight line. The vertical axis can represent anything, but the horizontal axis is usually used to indicate time. A trend over time, or at least over any number that rise sequentially, such as distance from a given point, is implied by a continuous line. Line graph differ from bar graph not just in appearance, since thin line rather than huge block displayed on the axis, but also in function by utilizing multiple lines instead of simply one. Line graph can illustrate pattern in a variety of quantities throughout time. Okay, this is a table of raw data for bar graph. This is a bar graph for sum of fertility rate from 2001 until 2018. The analysis for the graph. First, wilayah Persekutuan Putrajaya shows the lowest in sum of fertility rate in 2001 until 2018. Second, Sarawak has the highest value, then Sabah, which has the lowest value in sum of fertility rate in 2001 until 2018. Third, Melaka is much lower than wilayah Persekutuan Labuan in sum of fertility in 2001 until 2018. Fourth, Kelantan shows the fourth highest in sum of fertility in 2001 until 2018. Fifth, Negeri Sembilan is slightly decreased compared Johor in sum of fertility in 2001 until 2018. This is some suggestion to increase our facilities. First, do leisure activities. Example of leisure activities are bicycling, bowling, horseback riding, and swimming. However, not all leisure activities are sportive. Some people would rather spend their free time painting, drawing, reading, listening to music, or meditating. Second, medical checkup. Regular checkup can help find potential health issues before they become a problem. When you see your doctor regularly, they are able to detect health condition or disease early. Third, body weight care. Body weight care. Carrying extra weight requires the body to use a lot of energy. When someone lost weight, their energy level will skyrocket. Plus, the body can function much better when it is supplied with nutritious food. This is raw data table for line graph. This is line graph or principal statistic of the labor force by sex measure or state 1982 to until 1992. This is analysis for the line graph. First, according to the line chart that I observed, the statistic of force by sex men for the past 10 years from 1882 to 1992 increased dramatically. Second, statistics for those who are employed show a slight increase when compared to the increase in labor employment over a 10 years period. Third, the line chart for the outside labor force show a steady trend for the first 7 years before beginning to rise slightly in the 8 years and continue to rise for the next 2 years. Fourth, next, worker who work less than 30 hours per 10 years show a slight increase in the first 3 years, then a stable trend until the 7 years when it began to step from the next 2 years. Finally, the number of unemployed increased significantly until the 7 years, then stabilized in the 8 years and remained stable until the 10 years. This is some suggestion to reduce unemployment. First, change in education system. Educational pattern should be completely changed. Students who have liking for higher study should be admitted in college and universities. Emphasis should be given on vocational education. Qualified engineers should start their own small unit. Second, change in industry technique. Production technique should suit the need and mean of the country. It is essential that labor-intensive technology should be encouraged in place of capital-intensive technology. Third, subsidy for company how in reintegrating employed person. Subsidy for company. How are reintegrating employed person? Many companies also refrain from employing an employed person, especially if the person suffer from long-term unemployment. In this case, it might be sensible to provide financial incentive by government for this firm if they are willing to reintegrate long-term unemployed person into the workforce by offering them a job. By doing so, these people may be able to get a job and therefore may be able to get out of unemployment. In conclusion, bar graphs are used to compare things between different groups or to track change over time. However, when trying to measure change over time, bar graphs are best when the changes are large. Line graphs are used to track change over short and long period of time. When smaller change exists, line graphs are better to use than bar graph. Line graph can also be used to compare change over the same period of time for more than one group. That's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.